Good morning. Welcome to day 637 here, the Wake Up Everybody virtual community. Good morning. I'm so happy and grateful to be here in this space with you. Good morning, Omena. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Joy. Hello, Jacqueline. Mama Z, good morning.
Mary,
how are you?
Always blessed. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. I'm very, very excited to be here. Morning, Naomi. How are we doing this morning?
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Righty. Get to unmute, Joey.
That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I am just so grateful to be here and have been welcomed with such open arms into the Wake Up Everybody community, and just briefly give you a little bit of background. You know, who is this lady dropping into our space? And my name is Joey Lai. I grew up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and moved to the US to attend school so that I could play both ice hockey and softball in college. I attended a Division III university in Massachusetts and began coaching right after I graduated. My parents also signed me up for an open Team Canada tryout, and I ended up making it to the very final stage and being one of the final cuts. And that devastating moment in my sport career lit a fire within me, and I worked my butt off while I was coaching that next year and made the team the following year. Went on to have a 12-year international softball career that ended in Tokyo, Japan last summer at the Olympic Games, and just such an amazing way to hang up my cleats and go out on a historic moment. We won the first ever Olympic medal for Team Canada softball there. Since then, I have done a TEDx, and that is where I met the one and only Shawnee, and we connected and hit it off and have stayed connected over the past couple of months. And I've also been slowly growing my own business, Joey Lai OLY LLC, and that is my attempt at impacting the world around me. I call myself a speaker and high performance consultant, and there are many different avenues, whether it's through business, through colleges and universities, sports teams, that I have been impacting others and intend to continue growing that business. I I have a wife. I do identify within the LGBTQ plus community, and that flag is representative on my screen here. And there are a bunch of different flags that exist within the LGBTQ plus community. And this, in my opinion, is the most inclusive and all encompassing version so far, and the one that I choose to use. And I am a very happy auntie, godmother, and dog mom, which takes enough energy out of my day. I commend all of you mothers out there who inspire 24/7. So thank you very much for having me this morning. And I'm excited to share with you an introduction to the Enneagram, which is a personality assessment, and one that has impacted my life greatly and my circle greatly, because I'm so passionate about it now that my whole family has taken the assessment. Most of my friends have taken it. All of my players, now that I'm coaching with the national team, have taken it, and I'm excited to share why I'm so passionate about it with you. Is there anyone in the space who has taken the assessment or knows much about the Enneagram?
You know what I'll
I
say
did
while
something similar. Oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead. You go, sis.
I actually did something very similar called, gosh, I forget the name of it, but it was very similar to this, to what you're talking about. Very deep, very accurate. It broke it down in like, I think 6 or 7 stages of one's personality. And it was a very thorough like record that you got, like a reading. It told you about your habits, why people do certain things the way they do, why you show up the way you show up, and then how to actually improve in the areas, or know like what kind of people that I need to be working with and environments and spaces I need to be in. And I'm complete.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
I was gonna say, Joey, I'm looking forward to, of course, the next 2 days. But I've heard more about it since we met. When we first were talking, I was like, oh no. And then when I came back home, 3 people started talking about it unsolicited. So I'm like, clearly I need to know about this, because you opened me up to exploring the possibility of getting to know myself more. But I don't know if I see in the people are saying nope about it. So we get an opportunity to teach and share and grow collectively. So I love it. So you want me to move to the next slide?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
wonderful.
Let's dive in.
Yes.
So here, this is a complex, but a very great visual of what the Enneagram actually looks like. And this is the gift that I feel compelled to share with you all. It has just gifted me with so much self-reflection and has allowed me to connect on a deeper level with my wife, with my family, understand my upbringing a little bit more, which has maybe been the most interesting part, just understanding who my parents are on a deeper level and how that impacted my growth and development, not in a good way or bad way, but just a way. So here you see all 9 types listed around the circle. 1 being the perfectionist, which actually both my sister and my mom are, and a couple of my teammates as well. 2, which is my type, the helper. 3, the achiever. I have a number of friends who are achievers. 4, the artist or the individualist. I have actually never met somebody who is a 4. So I'm really excited over the next 24 hours for any of you who go through this process. If there is a 4, I'm excited to meet my first 4. 5 is the thinker, the investigator, the head coach of the national team that I'm working with right now, who was my teammate for years, is the investigator. 6, the loyalist, which my wife actually is a 6 and one of my good friends as well. So I've learned a lot about them. 7, the adventurer. This is the type that people often say, oh, I wish I was a 7, because it sounds so fun to always be adventuring. And I will take this moment to say there is no type that is better or worse than the other. And just this self-reflecting allows us to look a little deeper to our core motivations and understand ourselves a little bit better. Number 8, the challenger. I have a number of teammates who are number 8s, very, very strong, confident personalities, typically, and 9, the peacemaker. My mother-in-law was visiting from actually Zimbabwe over the past 5 months, and she is a peacemaker. So it was very interesting to be in close quarters with her and help. We actually had her do the assessment and help her kind of grow and reflect and us understand more deeply her internal core motivations and desires. So you can only be one type on the Enneagram. And one of the things that is very interesting and makes it a little more challenging is it gets really at your deep motivations and deep fears. And so sometimes we have not gotten to a space where we are fully self-aware to the point that we actually take the assessment and find our correct type from the beginning. And so this is an assessment that takes a little bit more reflection and understanding to correctly get your type. When we first were kind of embarking on this journey in my space, my wife Bailey came out as a 9. And so for a number of weeks, we were thinking she was a 9 and we were reading about it. And there's just something that wasn't fitting superbly. So we were reading deeper into the other numbers that she had tested high in and have by far and away correctly found her type as a 6. So there are a couple that can seem similar and come out as similar when you do take the assessment. And so taking that time to kind of read through the result and really think, is this the motivation that lies behind my actions? So as a 2, my core motivation is to be needed and to be loved. And so often when I'm doing things and navigating through the day, I now can be like, wow, I think I really just did that because I want that person to feel as though they need me in their life, or that, I will be loved by them and needed by them. And that can actually be, type 2 can be seen as very prideful. And so there's been some, self-reflecting and ego checking and pride checking in order to understand myself and my actions more deeply. The arrows that you see in this diagram, you can see there's an arrow going from 2 to 8. So when I am in stress as a type 2, when I'm in deep stress, I move through kind of the stressed or negative pieces of a 2 into the negative areas of an 8. So if the stress is so great, I can see myself and feel myself becoming, more blunt. And 2s are generally very generous and understanding and calm. And when I see myself going into a challenger mindset of, being upfront and getting in someone's face, that's a big sign for me that stress is too high in my space right now. And I need to, figure out what's going on there and take a step back. And so you'll see there's an arrow going from the 4 to the 2. So if we follow that the opposite way, 4 is actually my growth number. So that's how these all are connected. So it's even in addition to finding out your own type, there's now this complex web of how you can move through the Enneagram in different areas. So when I am in a very much, relaxed growth state, I am becoming way more creative and in touch with different feelings and emotions that I might have. So that is the very, very complex Enneagram in a few minutes. Are there any questions at this point, either over Facebook, in the chat, or anything that anybody is thinking about right now and wants to share?
I would love to hear why folks are letting that question marinate. We had some new people join, so welcome to the space. What has been one of the biggest benefits, Joey, for you having this knowledge about yourself and the other people that are in your life?
When I think about the other people in my life, I think communication and understanding is something that has been enhanced so much. Last night, I was just chatting with Bailey about, this morning and how excited I was to share this and how much of an impact it has had on my life. And she shared a story from a couple of weeks ago. She was taking her mother to see Niagara Falls, and I was driving separately from them, taking the dogs and going home. And the night before they were about to go on that adventure, I, Google mapped and found a parking lot for her to kind of, focus on and get there. And she was saying that, before I understood the importance of her kind of safety and security in her life, because that's the underlying motivation of a 6, I might not have done that, but just understanding that she thrives in the world when she feels safe and secure. And one of those things is having a plan and understanding kind of what her next steps are. And so I think just the communication and the understanding of what others in my space might need from me in order to enhance their experience. And then personally, I think I could easily say a lot of self-reflection and growth through that, but I think a specific example would be as a 2, I have way more of a tendency than a lot of the other types to not speak up for my own needs. And as you can see on this slide, the avoidance of a type 2 is your own needs. So often I will put everybody else's needs above mine. And I have learned that that is the way that my brain functions. But that doesn't mean that I have to always act in that way. And so I'm learning to advocate for myself more. And there are moments that I speak my mind when I wouldn't have in the past, just because I remind myself that, somebody else in this situation would just talk about it and share it. So why can't I do that too? So kind of understanding those habits I've fallen into because of how my personality has developed, and allowing myself to kind of grow into more.
Beautiful. There's some questions in the chat, so let's field those. Let's see. Can you be more than one? I think you were talking about that. You said that earlier, but some folks may not have been here to hear what you shared about this and how it works. And also, can your type change over time? Or are you one type for life?
So you can only be one type within the Enneagram. And there are definitely people who feel they have changed over time. And sometimes, taking the test as a teenager versus as an adult, it could come across differently. Because the underlying core motivation and underlying core fears are what drives the Enneagram, that should be constant through your life. That's something that we develop in childhood and stays true through our life. I think the difference, or why we can often have different results, especially as a younger person, or if we have a lot of self-reflecting and understanding to do versus once we've looked a little deeper, is it's the understanding we have of ourself that has evolved versus our type changing, if that makes sense.
Sure, thank you. All right, there was another question. Could the 9 be reflective of her mother's energy?
I would say absolutely. I think one of the superpowers of a peacemaker is that you seek harmony, and so constantly are feeling energy in a space and seeking that harmony both inside your own brain as well as in the environment. So I think the especially people close to you and the energy that they have would absolutely be felt by a 9.
Awesome. So if there are any other questions for Joey about the layout of the Enneagram, please do raise your digital hand so that we can acknowledge it and you can have a conversation with her. If not, then we're going to move forward, if that's okay with you, Joey.
Absolutely.
All right, Omena has a share. So if you can unmute Omena and even come on camera if you are able.
Oh, am I not on cam? I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, no, you may
Hold on.
be. I can't see it. So let me just,
Oh, okay. You know what? I wasn't. I apologize.
go ahead.
So I just wanted to know, and you might have mentioned this, but I didn't quite hear it. What things do you use to determine this information? So, like, what are the characteristics? Like, where do they gather the information to say that you are this kind of personality type?
Do you mean like with the history of this being developed or in
Me-
my?
The tools, like, what tools are they using? Like, how do they just determine, like, you're a 9 or you're a 2 or you're a 3? Like, are they assessing a person's behavioral habits? Is it psychological? Is it like something that you just gather from, the person answering, and then you make this determination about the psychology? Like, what are you using?
Yeah, so the assessment test, and I think I saw someone mention how long would the test take. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's a series of questions that are about your behaviors and habits. And so that is one reason why someone might have results that aren't perfectly accurate from the get-go, because behaviors and habits can have different reasons. Somebody who might be motivated by feeling loved might reach out and help someone else. Somebody who's motivated by harmony in their life might reach out and help someone else, but the motivations behind it would be different. So the assessment gets at your habits and behaviors and then gives a result that allows you to read through, does this type align with me? And so there's a piece of self-reflection and a little deeper understanding that follows in order to ensure we're on the right track. Does that help?
Yeah. And what were you saying when the person said, can you be a different uh personality? Can you be a different type as you change in life? You said something about you can't because something in childhood. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so typically there has been some reasoning or event or series of events in our childhood that cause us to develop and see the world through a certain lens. And so that remains constant through our life. Although our self-reflection could change over time. So our type might come out differently when we test, just because we think differently about ourselves versus our core desire changing.
Gratitude. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Awesome. All righty. So Joey, do you want to go to the next slide or?
Sure, yes. I think this was a time for any other reflection. There are a couple of questions on the next slide. If there's anybody who that sparks some thought and they want to share, or if there's any other questions or just thoughts that people want to share in the space, I'm happy to hear them. And I understand that we are already approaching 7:30, so I don't want to take more time than anybody wants to give, but I'm happy to be here and listen to more thoughts from the community.
Awesome. And we're here for it for sure, Joey. This is really good. When I think about, sorry for the noise in the background. I'm a New Yorker. There's bound to be anything going on at any time in the day. But I was thinking about how we often will engage in other types of study of ourselves. So everything from numerology to astrology, leadership development tests, or what type of leader we are or team player we are as it relates to work. So this is just another opportunity to get to know and connect with who we are so that we can show up more powerfully in the gifts that we were born with and enhance them and being more intentional. In times in my life, I've been like a feather in the wind. So I'm just grateful for opportunities to take a deeper dive into me. So we appreciate you being here and look forward to you taking a deeper dive tomorrow. So we have a hand up. Teresa, if you're ready, please do share.
Hi, peace and blessing, and good morning, and welcome to the little family, sister. One of the questions I've been number one, and I'm going. Excuse me. I'm focused on number one, but I've actually had a lot of issue with the question number two. Is like had trouble understanding why some people do the things they do. That really drives me to a place. And another thing is that I took a test and I was called an accommodator. That I accommodate people, which it was a recent test, and it was like, oof, and that was 100% true. So, but I haven't taken it again to see what happens. Yeah, I'm complete.
Great.
Thank you for sharing.
We have another hand. Rachel, you ready? You're muted, Rachel.
Yes. Good morning. Blessings, everybody.
Hi.
So for me, what comes up is 3. I learned how to effectively communicate. So learned, right? Because prior to not knowing how, I used to internalize a lot of things within just family members, bosses, colleagues, friends. I would internalize how they said something. I would internalize how they viewed something. I would even make like what they thought about something else about me. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And when I just did some, did more work on myself, I learned not to internalize. So that was a big part of my growth. This is interesting to me because I still lean towards other things, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely look at the graph and look at the different personalities because they came in a little bit late, but number 3 definitely stood out for me. I'm complete.
All right, and Joey, remind us for those who came in later, like what number 3 is, like what she's referencing.
Yes, 3 is an achiever. So very much goal oriented and can often would have a to-do list and want to think about once they achieve that thing, what can I do next? What can I achieve next? So that's a big driving factor, following achievements and always trying to grow and expand, personal life, professional life, looking for that next career move or promotion.
Awesome. And Danny asked, are these linked to your life path numbers? Sorry, I got here late. And then Helen asked, is it possible you can assess your own type, but later test as a totally different type?
I think I would love to learn about life path numbers. I am not well versed in those. So maybe by tomorrow I can have an answer for you with that. And then you can absolutely assess your own type and test as something different. Often, when we're reading descriptions or understanding what the types are, we might think, oh, that's for sure me. And then once we go through the test and our behaviors show we might actually be something different. So just whether you are self-assessing through reading or taking an assessment and getting your results, either way, I would suggest reading through and trying to gain a deeper understanding of what that type's core motivation is, what their core fear is, and if that aligns with why you do the things that you do.
Ashe. And what was mentioned is one of our Wake Up members and facilitators. His name is Brandon Smith, and he is a master at numbers and numerology and has given readings to people in the space and can talk about these correlations and connections. So I'll make sure this morning I didn't reach out to him to pull him into the space, but I'll make sure that he comes tomorrow, not to take over, but just in case people want to see that connection and correlation. Great question, Danny. And did you answer? Did you answer already? I might have missed it because I'm over here multitasking about thinking you're one type and then finding out you're a whole different type. So I missed the answer, didn't I? Okay, I did. It's all right.
It's okay.
Over here doing tech stuff. It's okay as long as y'all got the answer. I'll be talking to Joey later. All righty. So I can put back up the slide that we were just looking at so that you can move us through that. So here we go.
Awesome. Yes, if there's anyone else who would like to share a time they've gone through a personal growth that has influenced your connection to and understanding of yourself and others as well, or a time you've had trouble understanding why someone does the things that they do, or a time you've learned how to more effectively communicate with a family member, partner, friend, colleague, or boss, or a time you've recognized that you have blind spots. And feel free to drop something in the chat as well. And as we are hearing some further reflection, we can sit on the next slide if individuals want to start reading through a little more detail of each type and have any thoughts.
I know somebody in this space wants to share their options, so I'm going to ask if you do want to come on stage and share about any of the three. Choose one to talk about, and we're definitely open to hear you, because one person can't share from all three, just based on our time this morning. And Joey will also remind us later on, like, how we can take the test and prepare ourselves for tomorrow's session, because we are going deeper once again tomorrow. So Jacqueline has her hand raised. Come on through, Jacqueline.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Oh, okay, I'll put the thing.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Yes, I recognize that I have blind spots, and I kind of knew that there was some things about myself that I was not able to see, but going through some personal growth and development recently has really opened my eyes to some of the blind spots that I have regarding how I see people, and or no, how people see me actually. It's like, oh wow, okay, I kind of knew but wasn't sure, and now I got confirmation on some things, but I'm sure that there's other blind spots out there for me to consider or to discover. And so I think that we all have blind spots, and the only way to get that is to have a mirror reflecting back on you, or someone who can point it out to you. Because a lot, what I did discover was that some of the stuff that I thought about other people were actually me. So I connected to when you said that, and I'm complete.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? And I'll read the question from Z, and Joey, you can answer. I can definitely answer. There's definitely a relationship that I'm grateful for the last 15 years that I have with blind spots. But Omena said, as you prepare to answer that question, Omena said, I totally was speaking about how I have a blind spot. Oh, blind spots are popular, and am definitely ready to transform it. Underlying there is a sabotage. You must struggle, but my conscious mind is revealing that the latter, I'm messing up your statement, sorry, Nomena, the latter statement isn't true. I am noticing how things that can be easy become a challenge. All righty, so blind spot. Want to share anything about that, Joey, and then comment on what Omena said?
For sure, yeah. I think that when we self-assess or do a 360 review of ourselves, we might get things, people might share with us things that we know. People might share things with us that, everybody in the room sees about us. But there might also be some things that come up that we didn't see about ourselves. So we may not have realized or have had situations that we have been able to understand these areas or these habits or these personality traits of ourselves. And that would be a blind spot. For me, through the Enneagram, I learned how much, my actions were driven, and how I saw the world was driven by my need to be loved and needed. And so that was something that I would say was a blind spot. I didn't understand kind of the motivations behind my actions. And now that I do, I can self-reflect way more easily. But I'd love to hear your example, Shawnee.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until many years ago that I had a running abandonment story. I did some transformation work like Jacqueline alluded to earlier, and others in this space through Landmark, and just sitting there in the space and being moved through different exercises and just conversation and people going to the mic. I was like, oh my gosh, from when I was a child, people in my family had issues around substance, some mental health stuff too. and I had to do a lot of things on my own. You know, when it was time to go to school, I had to figure out how to go to college. And when I left at 17, my abandonment story was like, don't go back. And then when I got to college, meaning go back home. And then when I got to college, the saga continued. You know, I would make up that friends were abandoning me because they said no, or if a guy wasn't interested in me or wasn't doing what I wanted him to do in reference to relational dynamics or even friendship, I would make up that I was being abandoned, but it wasn't a conscious thought. And then I would act out behaviorally. So blind spots are something else. And when it became revealed to me, I was like, I think I want to go back to not knowing. Because it's painful to know. It was painful for me. It was liberating. It's like, oh, I see. But it was also painful to think about me operating like that and then being grown. I'm doing air quotes and operating from that. It's like, I'm not a little girl anymore. But then I also recognize that a lot of stuff plays out from our younger years. And I can be emotionally not as mature as I am chronologically. So that's my blind spot example.
Thank you for sharing.
No problem. All right. Any other shares? We got blind spot that is very, very popular. And Charmaine, I don't know if there's Facebook shares that you want to bring into the space. It's up to you if there are any. And I see Purple's hand is up. So Charmaine, before we go to Purple, anything?
They're very quiet.
Okay. And that's good. That's okay.
A very good thing. Yeah, that just means that they're taking it all in and really listening.
Ashe, I'll take that. So Purple, if you're ready, you can unmute. It's up to you whether you come on camera. Just want to make sure that the invitation is known in there.
Hey, good morning, Wake Up Fam.
Morning.
The blind spot conversation is really pulling. I knew it when I read it, and I'm like, no, that was a part of the blind spot. But I have recently, I haven't distinguished what is there yet, but I've picked up on a pattern with my partner. When we're about to go somewhere that we're really excited about, I'm gonna lean to say I create a breakdown, a serious conflict, and a big argument. And it's like, yes, we have a breakthrough, but I'm now like, she has totally made me aware of it, but I see it. I'm like, I don't really know what that was about. So I'm now like really starting to look and wonder, and looking at this diagram this morning with the current situation I'm in life. I was like, I don't know where I'm at. You know? So I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow because I saw so many things that were possible. And I think that's that's my blind spot. I am aware of. It's like my default is I don't know. You know, so I even can now hear that, and what I shared about my partner, I'm still coming from that. I don't know, but I am aware like there's something there, and it does feel like a self-sabotage thing, or that's what I've been wondering. Is it a self-sabotage thing? So looking at the self-sabotage, what could that possibly land me number-wise?
That could be a number of different things. I think it's figuring out what's your key fear and what's your key motivation. Is it, my question would be, is safety and security something that you're really, really needing? And is the self-sabotage, the kind of creating that conflict, are you testing the relationship and seeing, is this as secure as I think it is? If that makes sense.
It does. I was bouncing between the like safety, security, even though like I don't consciously think that. However, I can feel and look at patterns in my life and say there is something, because I only relate to safety as physical, or I, up until last year, I only related to safety as physical. But I know I've been really gravitating in the last 3 years to the word harmony. Like I used to always say, oh, I want balance in life, or peace, or, a little bit of freedom every now and then. But it became real evident that what it was I wanted to seek, offer myself, and then stand for in the world is harmony. So that's the one that's resonating the most with me. And then I was like, yeah, peacemaker was the obvious thing. But whoa, I just appreciate the entire diagram, all of those words right there. And I am definitely committed to be getting clear.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you on this journey.
Shay. Yeah, she just purple just made me think about the chart that you have for us and putting that up. But folks are like in it. They want to talk more. So I see that Kia has her hand up, and then we'll hear from her. And then if we're ready, we'll move into looking at the layout of the different types so that we can be clearer in reference to
recording in progress.
Uh-oh. Kia, you ready? Kia, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes, I'm ready. All right, someone needs to, there, I think on 2 devices or something. But go ahead, sis, we're ready for you.
So the blind spot, I would say my blind spot is that I talk with entitlement because I just feel like I give so much and do so much, and people don't always think to be thoughtful back. So then it's like, well, I didn't do it to gain anything, but you should be thoughtful too. I just like people aren't thoughtful enough. So then I start to talk in an entitlement voice because I'm always that person that volunteers themselves to go and be the one to help. But when it's time for them to volunteer, it's like no one is volunteering themselves. They're looking around like, who's gonna help her? Like, or who's gonna not even help her, but like, who's gonna do something to relieve, something off of her? That never happens. So then I have like this tone where I'm just like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to delegate. I guess you're going to do it. Like, and that's not okay either. And then I feel like I'm just an emotional person on top of that. So it leads to other things. And I just feel like I really need to know what number am I, because I'm so emotional. I cannot wait. I hope I was just saying to myself, like, I hope I'm not a manipulator. Because sometimes like when you like get assessments, you're like, you're the one. I'm like, ooh, that's what I'm hoping. So I just can't wait to that.
I can relate to a lot of things that you're saying. So I have a feeling you might land on a 2, but I'm excited for you on this journey and to see how this develops for you.
Awesome. I heard you say earlier is that there's nothing bad about any of the spaces where we land, because it sounds like that kid, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be this. I'm like, it's a beautiful thing if you're whatever you are, wherever you land. So that's really cool. We have we're going to hear from Teresa, and then we'll put the slide up so that we can move forward. And y'all are just taking this conversation far and wide, which is great. So Teresa, if you're ready, please unmute yourself, hon.
Oh, I didn't realize I had my hand up again.
Well, you don't have to say anything if it's not
intended. I can say something. I just wanted to tell her thank you. I just want to tell her thank you, mainly just tell her thank you for just bringing this to light so we can get some assistance and, living, a quality life in a good place.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. All righty. So let me put the slide up. And while I put the slide up, I'm going to read what Omena said really quickly. Just go back because she said something earlier. And Imani discovered, isn't that funny? You can do something years ago and be like, no, I've never seen this before. And then discover it's like, wait a minute, I've done this before, as you listen more and tune into the conversation. So Omena said, Joey and Shani, yes, my running story is things aren't going to work out for you, meaning herself, which comes from this punishing idea that I have about myself from the being I was in a past life, at least what I've been able to crack open. So there we go. All right, so proceed, Joey.
Okay, so this next slide shows kind of just very, very brief points of each type. So if you want to screenshot this next slide and have that as kind of a reference point to have moving forward, or to think about this afternoon while you're preparing to take or have just taken the assessment. This is just a brief overview showing for type 1, the perfectionist, their common needs are honesty, organization, efficiency, Their core motivation is being good or being right. The type 2, the helper, common needs appreciation, clear communication, follow through. So this, was just being talked about. I hope I'm not the manipulator, but it's often, which is my type, when you don't feel appreciated, figuring out how to get that follow through from others. Core motivation being loved and appreciated. Number 3, the achiever, we also touched on earlier. Common needs to the point. They need hard work in their life and respect, and their core motivation is being respected. The individualist, common needs, empathy, individuality, meaningful conversation, core motivations to create significance and an identity. The investigator, common needs to process. They want evidence and research and necessary communication, not fluffy fillers, just necessary communication. Core motivation being competency and knowledge. Type 6, the loyalist, common needs validation, a plan or familiarity, acceptance of worries, and core motivation being safety, guidance, and security. Type 7, the enthusiast, common needs freedom, positivity, being heard, and their core motivation being content. And type 8, the challenger, common needs upfront communication, decisiveness, trust, and core motivation to protect themselves and their close circle. And type 9, the peacemaker, common needs being taken seriously, help or time making decisions, and to feel seen, and their core motivation is peace of mind and harmony. So one quick example of why having this reference was so helpful for me working within a team or working with others. I had a couple of teammates who were 8s, challengers, very opposite from my natural personality and communication style, but knowing that they were 8s allowed me to have upfront communication with them, where my natural communication style would be, hey, how are you doing today? What can we do? We're thinking about this problem. How can we proceed? Just walking up to that person being like, hey, this isn't working. How can we make this better? What was a very much more productive way to have a conversation with that individual. So just a quick example of how that enhanced my ability to work with others. So again, if you want to screenshot this, take a photo of it to have as a reference later, feel free to do so. And if we have some thoughts, I'm happy to take them. Shawnee, if you want to move forward, I know we're way over time right now. Thank you everybody for being so bought into this Enneagram journey.
Yeah, just it's okay. The community knows that if they have to transition off, they can do that. And it's a robust conversation, so it's worth the time and the energy. So anybody shares, comments before we move on? And Joey, once again, just repeating how one can access the test so that we can be ready for part 2 tomorrow. That would be great to hear.
Yes, we will drop a link in the chat. And this is a test. So there are a ton of paid tests out there. This is a free test that I have used. It's the one that I have no relation to this website, but it's just the one that I feel gives the best kind of descriptions afterwards. And there are some questions that can be worded a little bit confusing, but just stick with it. If there's a question that's confusing, answer in the middle and move on to the next one. And then it gives a good description once you have completed the assessment of what it feels your type might be. So that's a great thing to read through and self-reflect and see how it sits with you. So that link will be dropped in the chat.
Awesome. So Charmaine has that, so be on the lookout. There's a question from Omena. So go ahead, sis.
Joey, this is so fascinating. Shawnee, thank you for how you're facilitating this as well. I have a quick question, because one thing I notice when I take these exams, right, I feel like if I have the blind spot of certain things, am I answering my behavior and am I answering the questions in a real way? If I have a blind spot or something that's kind of preventing me from really being my authentic self, then how true will the assessment be? Has that come up?
Absolutely. I've had people who test very similarly with 2 types. And even though these types are so different, the results come back very closely. And so for those individuals, reading through both descriptions, self-reflecting on how does this sit with me? How does this one sit with me? And even I shared earlier about my wife Bailey had tested as a 9, and we were kind of reading and diving into that. And after a little while, we felt this isn't sitting properly. So read through kind of her next highest scores and realized that we had mistyped her, and now we had figured out what her true type was, and how much that has enhanced our communication and understanding. And so absolutely, because we have blind spots, we can often answer about our behaviors differently than what our core underlying desires and fears actually are. So it's important to reflect and read and continue kind of diving into it. It's easy to take the test and be like, oh, I'm a 2. Okay, great, I'm a 2. But I suggest and encourage you to take the time to read through and really self-reflect and have conversation with other people close to you. You know, is this me?
Awesome. Thank you, Omena. And Rachel has her hand up. I think you'll be the last person to share before we start to wrap up. So go ahead, Rachel.
Oh, I'm on mute. Okay, so the link, when I'm clicking it, I don't know if anybody else is having an issue. It's saying that the server does not exist. Is anybody else having an issue, or is it just on my end?
I had the same issue, but it said Safari couldn't find it, which is not surprising. So I'm gonna try Google.
Gotcha.
If you go on Google, you'll be able to pull it up.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I love this. Thank you, community. I love it that you're right on it, and then that you're troubleshooting and moving barriers out of the way. For some of us, and I'm sure it's connected to one of these types, it's easy to give up. It's like, I couldn't get on there. Next. Moving on to the next thing. All right, so y'all just be easy, be patient, and be committed, because once again, we'll be back here tomorrow hearing about the type you landed on and being able to be coached and guided by Joey around that. So Joey, anything else before we move forward?
I apologize. The link is not feeling.
Google works. Google works.
Okay.
Google's working. Yep.
So the link works. It's just for those of us that have Apple products. Safari's not recognizing it. But if you go into Google, Google is pulling it up, and it's the first option that you will see when you go into Google and put the link in. So it is working. It's just Safari, it's just playing the fool. That's all.
Amazing. Well, thank you for troubleshooting.
We got it.
And Anna just dropped in the link again. Thank you, Anna, for being here and for supporting. I love all these tech savvy leaders. I can't wait to see where you land, Anna, in reference to and me too. Oh my God.
Hi, Shawnee. Thank you for
Hi.
inviting me. I'm sorry
Of
I'm late.
course.
You know, I don't wake up that early. I'm a late bird, but late night owl. I actually think this is so interesting, and I agree with the previous person, like, oh, maybe I don't want to sound like I'm that way, so maybe I'm going to answer it incorrectly. So I'm going to be really honest. Hopefully I can get a good assessment. And I do think, like, lately I've been thinking a lot about things like the inner child work that a lot of people talk about, and like, there's reasons I'm the way I am, you know, and it's not like I like the way I am sometimes. So I think it's good to keep growing, you know, and understand, like, what are my issues? Like, why do I get so flared up about certain things? You know, how can I be a better communicator and all that? So thank you for this.
Amazing. Thank you for being here.
All righty. So let me move forward. So final reminders.
Yes. Final reminders for you all, and enjoy the experience of discovering your type. I know there have been numerous people talking about, well, I hope I'm not that one, or I hope I'm that one. Just enjoy the experience of discovering yourself. And there is no type that's better than the other. And just the act of a deeper understanding, self-reflection, connection with others, I think is so amazing and just enhances our life so much. And I'm excited to see you tomorrow to unpack more details and to see some more self-discovery in this space. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm so excited to continue progressing with you all.
Awesome. Beautiful job, sis. So special offer for the community.
Yes, for the community at any point in time, feel free to jump on my website there, contact me. There's a fillable form, name, email address, and comment box. If somewhere in the comment box you type wake up, you can just literally type wake up, or if you want to type a message and then include wake up at the end, I will send you 2 short and sweet mindset related videos. One of my passions in life is talking about mindset and how much that impacts and enhances us navigating life. So that will be my gift to you and my thank you for you being here with me today.
Beautiful. Thank you. All righty. And those pieces, the special offer has been dropped into the Facebook and the Zoom threads so that you can access that and get the special gift. And Joey has offered that will be provided in perpetuity. As long as you put wake up in, you'll be able to access it. But don't wait, don't hesitate. Like get yours now, please. Why wait for transformation? Like when we can have it at hand. So contact information. This is the way to get in contact with you. Joey, anything you want to say, like the best ways, the quickest ways about reaching out to you?
Yeah, I think quickest would be absolutely text. I am definitely in with the current state of the world, and my phone is pretty much attached to me most times. So text is the easiest, but I will check all of these things if you feel more comfortable messaging through Facebook, messaging through Instagram, or sending an email or submitting the form through my site. I will check all of those spaces.
Awesome. All right, let me make sure that we have everybody muted. Moving forward. So love offerings, everyone. Each day that we land in the wake up space, there's an opportunity to give and experience reciprocity. What we're experiencing today with Joey is a demonstration of what the Wake Up Everybody virtual community has been providing for the last 2.5 years. We've landed on day number 637. The reason why we've gotten here is because of the awesome co-creation of all the brilliant people, facilitators, admins, and those of you who identify as community members and audience. So thank you. And if you want to give regularly without having to think about it, here's the monthly automated love offering links, which Charmaine will be dropping into the threads on Facebook and Zoom so that you can give in that way. And for those who have done this already, we thank you, we see you, we appreciate you, we love you. So tomorrow, as we have been discussing in this session, we'll experience part 2 with our beloved sister, our new sister, Joey, where she'll talk about you matter, your inner circle matters, a deeper understanding, part 2. So please do take the assessment, the Enneagram assessment, and join us tomorrow so that we can explore and unpack what you discovered about you, because you're important. And it's important for you to know you so that you can navigate the world. And in my view, we're here to serve. So you'll know how to serve in a more powerful way and with integrity. Then Wednesday, we have our sister who's new to the space, Dr. Valerie Newsom Garcia. She'll be here to talk about who you are and what you do. Can't wait. And I feel like everything that we've been talking about this week so far is connected. Even Sunday, yesterday, the Instagram navigation, like if we know who we are, if we have that understanding of what matters, and we're deeply connected to ourselves, and how we show ourselves, the public facing selves, and social media and anywhere we go will reflect that and will be clear and powerful. The Woo Nation welcomes all new members to the space. If you're new to the space, thank you for being here in this community, which has been, once again, co-creating with one another for 2.5 years. We are here to learn, elevate, and ascend. And many of us have testimonies about how we have done so. So thank you for joining us today. And we ask you to keep coming back so that you can keep expanding, growing, and transforming. And our schedule for you to return. We're here on Zoom Live and Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday. And Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, we have a longer session from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. That's a full meal. And then we have our appetizers on Mondays and Wednesdays, but it can go like today when we go a little longer because the conversation is so rich. that we want to make sure that we unpack and understand and understand what we're offering up. But the bottom line is that we're here from Sunday through Thursday, and we encourage you to come in at 7 o'clock, set your alarms, invite other people so that we can keep growing together. And if you want alerts because you need your Nighthawk, like Anna was talking about, and you're not a morning person and you need a reminder or an alert, please do use the number 74121. Once it comes up on your text, type in the message Woo Nation capitalized, and you will get automatic messages about the session. And I'm good for texting people in the morning once the session has started, so you can be reminded to jump in and reminded about who's actually facilitating. So I hope you don't mind, because I'm going to keep doing it. Woo swag. Oh, we can wear Woo on us, literally and figuratively, carry it everywhere we go, in a tote bag, through a journal, through a laptop sleeve, through a sweatshirt, t-shirt, through a water bottle, a teacup, coffee cup, whatever it is that tickles your fancy, or through a mask. We encourage you to buy Woo swag, get some t-shirts. It's hot. So, get a water bottle. It's hot. Hydrate yourself, protect yourself. COVID's not over. So please do represent Woo as you walk in the streets and co-create with other beings in the world. So we want to thank our beloved sisters, and we thank Sister Joey, and we also want to thank you, community, for co-creating an awesome session today. So stay the course, keep coming back, come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because we will be here, as they say, same bat channel, same bat time, so that we can keep growing and transforming with you. So I'm going to ask if you could unmute yourselves, family, so that we can pour love into our new sister, Joey, and so she can feel the energy and the appreciation of this community. So come through, y'all, unmute and let it rip.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe, for the great presentation.
Thank
Thank
you so much.
you.
Thank you, Joey. This was
I'm glad you guys
phenomenal.
share with
Really
us.
appreciate everything you gave us
You
today.
been here.
Can't wait tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, yes,
Thank you
yes.
for everybody.
Appreciate you.
What's up, family?
Love you,
So glad to see some of y'all. How y'all
Forward to
doing?
more.
Thank you, thank you. Happy team, happy team day. Hey, Purple, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. What's up,
Forward to
family?
taking this
What's
test
up?
and seeing where I
What's
fall,
up,
because
family?
we
Love
have
y'all. Can't wait.
all those
See y'all tomorrow.
identifiers,
Come back.
or most of them
Invite more
anyway.
people to come back.
Thank you.
Hey, Sarge, how you doing?